anyone familiar with Uber? Good, great, wonderful. Now let me start off by saying that I've taken Uber multiple times in my life and haven't really had a problem, but I refuse to do Uber Pool. Uber Pool is like half the price of a regular Uber, but you have to share the car with someone else. And the only time I ever used it, I had to sit next to a man, a grown man, who was literally barefoot. Now let's keep in mind, I don't live near the beach. I don't live in the jungle. This is New York City. We picked up this guy in the middle of Manhattan at 4 in the afternoon. Why are you barefoot? What happened to you? I didn't even know you were allowed to do that. I thought it was like stores. You need a shirt and shoes in order to get in. I had to sit next to this guy for a solid 20 minutes. And at one point, the driver made a sharp turn and this guy came up off the ground real quick and I felt his pinky toe touch my ankle bone, and for the rest of the ride, all I thought about was, wow, I cannot wait to saw off my foot and throw it in the garbage. That was the first and last time I do Uber Pool. But like I was saying, I've taken tons of Ubers and I've never had a problem. Until I met D. That was his name. One letter, no apostrophe or anything, just D. I don't know if it was short for David or something like that, but all the app said was D. And it was kind of funny because when he was pulling up, my notification popped up and it says D is arriving. And I was like, that's kind of funny. So anyway, D pulls up and it's hot out. So as I'm getting into the car, I'm like, all right, buddy, fire up that AC. And immediately he blasts the heat. I guess he heard fire and was like, fire's hot, and just put the heat on. And I get awkward in situations like that, so I didn't even correct him. Like, I didn't want to be like, no, I meant the air conditioning. That's what I want. I just left it. We both sweat until we got to my destination. So that's settled. We're in the middle of the desert inside this car, and then we start talking, because I like to get a little chatty with the drivers. I think it's a perfect opportunity to just lie about who you are. You can be anybody. They have to believe you. They don't know you. I don't know him. He could have told me anything. I would have believed him, and that's what I do. I like to lie about who I am every single time I get into an Uber. So I start off with some small talk, and then I'm like, so, are you married? And he goes, no. Well, my wife is. I'm like, your wife is married? He goes, yes. And I just left it at that. It just felt very illegal and dangerous. I didn't want to dig deeper. I have no idea how this guy isn't married, but his wife is married to if she's his wife, he's the guy, right? I started to get confused. I didn't want to get a nosebleed or a headache, so I just left it at that. I'm like, okay, yeah, we're just gonna pretend that makes sense. But anyway, we get past that, and then later on in the ride, he asks if I want a piece of gum. And I'm like, yeah, sure, thinking that there was a pack of gum somewhere in the back seat that I didn't see, or that he had. No, he went into his back ass pocket while driving, like leaned up and pulled a pack of Orbit out of his pocket, and then took a piece of gum out of the box, unwrapped it, and then just gave me the piece of gum. Now, I'm sort of a germaphobe, so I kind of want to know, am I the only one who thinks that's fucking insane? Like, who unwraps the whole piece of gum and gives it to a stranger? I took it and I pretended to eat it. I was like, like I didn't want to eat it. I would have rather eaten a bomb at that point. Then he started asking me for directions. It sounds like I'm making this up, but I promise I'm not. He literally asked me. He's like, should I go down this street? And I'm like, this one? Like in front of the street, there was a big ass yellow sign, dead end. I'm like, maybe we shouldn't go down that one. It's a dead end. 5 minutes later, he's like, is the tunnel around here? And now I'm like, should I drive? Do you even know how did you get this job? Just follow the GPS. That's all you have to do. Finally, this guy figures out where he's going and we get into Manhattan. Now, I thought this field trip was over because I'm literally 4 blocks from where I need to be. But no. D had other plans. We're driving down a street in Midtown Manhattan and a cab is pulling out of a parking spot, and instead of just letting him go like a normal person would, he tried to speed past it and drove into the side of the cab. He didn't hit it hard, no one was hurt, but he definitely hit it. And at this point, I'm blown away by the fact that more things keep piling on top of this one Uber ride. But I was fed up at that point, so I was like, I'm just gonna walk the rest of the way. I was 4 blocks away, so I just got out and I was like, D, you are on your own, bud. And I know people are probably wondering if I like reported this guy or if I told someone like, hey, this guy's dangerous, he shouldn't be driving Uber. I actually did the complete opposite. As soon as I got out of the car and I was walking, I went right to my app, oh, 5 stars. That is a 5-star ride. And I know it probably sounds like I made up all this shit, but I assure you that New York City is filled with these stories, especially on nights like Halloween. Last Halloween, I was walking on 2nd Avenue, an Uber pulled up, the door opened, and there was a girl throwing up all over the seats, continuously, just vomiting. And then after everyone got out, the guy was leaning back, looking through the open door, the back seat door, and looking at me on the sidewalk and going, you getting it? Am I getting into your vomit-covered fucking Uber? No! It's just, it's pure insanity out there. Also, before I go, I want to give a quick shout out to Audible for sponsoring this video. If you guys love listening to stories, then you'll definitely love Audible because that is exactly what they do. They have a crazy amount of audiobooks to choose from, like I Can't Make This Up by Kevin Hart, which is the one that I'm currently listening to. And if you use my special URL, audible.com/Santagato, you will get a free audiobook and a 30-day trial. So sign up using my link. Get some free stuff, why not? Audible.com/Santagato, free audiobook and a 30-day trial. You're welcome, and that is all, and I'll see you guys next week. Bah!